Hi everybody and welcome back to Cinderella Phenomenon. I'm ready to scream. Man, I was recording for 20-something odd minutes and I look up to the timestamp on my recording and it froze at 9 minutes. It froze. I'm angry. I wonder... I don't think it's that. Man. Ugh, now I gotta do all that again. Look at the saves I created. I created saves. I'll just have to suffer through again. I made so many good jokes too, man. Anyway, welcome back to my less enthusiastic second time recording this. Woo. Dang it. YouTube is difficult. I don't like it. Well, at least I know the right answers to some of the questions, so we won't be wasting too much time. I'm gonna keep staring at that timestamp and making sure it is rockin' and rollin'. Don't get distracted by the gameplay, me. We gotta keep an eye to make sure it's recording. The days pass in quick succession over the next week. Remarkably, I'm able to fall asleep and stay asleep. I don't know what or if Sin has done anything to lose this, but I'm relieved for the change regardless. It has been 4 days since our talk at the cafe, and I have some time on my hands after meeting with Father and the counselors. Rumpel, who already knows about this, will be by in a few hours. Last I heard from him, he was busy setting up his new clinic space in the palace. His absence works to my advantage. I have some time on my hands to do something nice for him without him knowing. In the end, I decided to go with my first idea, the scarf. Rumpel has been in need of a scarf for a while. He's not the same without one. But the question remains, what kind of scarf should I get him? Now, as I apply some chapstick, I really could not think of what would be the right one. So, in the first recording, I went back and forth constantly with these two. It was kind of annoying and took a while. I think the right answer is make him a scarf, even though I didn't get a good boy point. But I didn't get a good boy point with this one either. I'm just gonna make him a scarf. It's been a long time since I sewed anything. When I was lonely, I used to sew puppet companions for myself, but I never made clothing. I can still remember the scarf Bria made for Rumpel. Is there any way I can make one that looks I got a hiccup. Even half as nice? Bria made a living as a seamstress, but... Gosh, I got shit in my throat. Gosh. I shake my head to clear it. I will make him a nice scarf. A maid passing through the hallway pauses to look at me. It occurs to me belatedly that I spoke out loud. If I must say the words for them to be true, then so be it. Pardon me. That was horrible. Though it has been years since I sewed anything for pleasure, I am easily able to locate the supplies. I set everything out on the table and start working. The longer I work, the easier it becomes to focus. Eventually, I completely lose track of time. And what is my lovely sexto doing? The minute I catch the glint of Rumpel's glasses, I grab the material off the desk and sit on it. I mean, you totally could have just lied. And now you look suspicious. And then there's gonna just be a whole conversation of, the fuck you doing? When you could have just said, oh, I'm just making a glove. He never would have been the wiser, honestly. Keeping secrets, are we? I have no idea what you're talking about. Exactly my point. Are you hiding another romance book? I will never forget the day Rumpel found me in here reading one of the romance books Emmy lent me. Or rather, will he ever let me forget it? I should bring by another so we can read it together. The last time he read a romance out loud, I wanted to throw myself out a window. Constant mood, though? Reading these dating sims? Me? Literally me, just reading all of Seduce Me. Just wanting to throw myself out a window. If you do that again, I'll burn the book with magic. Even if it's Emmy's? Dang right. Rumpel laughs as he leans closer, close enough for me to see the playful shimmer in his eye. You never answered my question. It's nothing. Oh? He leans even closer until his lips are brushing my ear. If it's nothing, then you won't mind me sweeping you off your feet to see. I grip the chair when Rumple sets a hand on my back. I will not let this surprise be spoiled. Before he can lift me off the chair, I lean forward and kiss him hard. Dear God. I kiss him violently. He freezes, but his surprise is only momentary. He kisses me back, his fingers trailing down my back and sending shivers down my spine. When we part, he steps away and holds his hand in surrender. Fine, I admit defeat. Good, because you can never hope to best me. He laughs. Ya boy laughs. I made a joke. In my how dare you YouTube comment? Get out of here. My mail is like, yo, you gotta comment. Thank you. It's not like I'm, busy. But in the first recording that you shall never now see because it doesn't exist anymore, I made a joke that instead of calling Rumple Rumple, I just, whenever his name came up, I'd just say, ya boy. And it truly entertained me. I also said that, if there was a visual novel, a dating, like, just one of these, where you can name your own character, but you can also name, like, all of the other love interests' names, that'd just be great. That'd just be hilarious. I'd have a field day. No one could stop me. He plops down on the bed with a sigh. It occurs to me that today was his first official day as palace physician. How was your work? Good, I suppose. You suppose? Rumple shakes his head. There wasn't much to do besides organize my inventory and order medication. Most of the nobles and servants who came by were healthy. He seems troubled by it. And how were they? Rumple's expression is carefully neutral. As I said, they were all healthy. But how were they when you spoke to them? I cannot help but recall the way the two ladies in town looked at him. Many people, nobles included, are unafraid to show their dislike of him. But there's a noise. Is it my dog? Is it my birds? I can't tell. Is it a ghost? Maybe. Who cares? But because Rumple is Rumple and dislikes speaking ill of anyone, he probably does not want to admit it. I already know the answer. Don't do it. I trust Rumple. I have faith that if things get too difficult, he will talk to me. I will always be here to listen to your concerns. Just as there are things I would rather do alone, there are things he, too, must want to figure out on his own. Being able to support him in that endeavor is enough. Thank you, Sexto. You always are the brightest, most glorious ray of sunshine in my life. Okay, now guys, I want you to pay attention to the bottom left corner. And the best listener. No! I cannot believe this shit. This shit. Okay, you have no idea what I'm talking about, but you will in just a second as I explain. Between these lines back here, between these lines that he spoke, these last like 3, between each line, Sexto would show up, blink, and then disappear. She'd have no dialogue, she'd just blink and leave, and it was so fucking creepy. And I cannot believe it didn't do it again, and I am actually mad. Because it was downright creepy. She'd just show up, blink, and his next line would come. Damn it. Fine. Yeah, that's my last line, okay. That's high praise coming from the actual best listener. He responds to the compliment with a soft kiss to my forehead. There's my good boy point. Not that I want it anymore. I'll never tire of your compliments, my sweet princess. He pauses suddenly, looking thoughtful. Do you mind if I ask you a question? Okay, so this is as far as I got in my last recording. So, from here on out, don't know what's going on. Of course not. What do you propose I do about more troublesome patients? I mean, I don't know. What do you mean? I'm surprised by the quiet determination in his eyes. I don't want you to needlessly worry about me. I know you have a lot on your plate. When I do not say anything, Rumple sighs and pulls off his glasses. Oh, he's naked! He regards me silently with a violet gaze. Violet? I thought his eyes were gray. Oh my god, his eyes are... Are your eyes purple? Have I been blind? I've been blind. I notice he only takes off his glasses when it's just the two of us. He's much easier to read when he's not wearing them. Well, what have you done in the past with troubling patients? For once, Rumpel looks at a loss for words. While he's still distracted, I take the opportunity to quickly pull the uncompleted scarf out from beneath me and fold it up. Smooth. Then, before Rumpel can question what it is, I tuck it into the drawer and turn back to him. Didn't even notice. How mysterious. I cleared my throat. Rumpel, do you ever think about what is good for you? That's a fucking weird... What? I know the answer to that question too, but I enjoy the bewilderment on his face when I say it out loud. What a silly question, Sexto. Of course I do. I eye him skeptically. I think maybe you should spoil yourself more often. Rumpel's look of shock perhaps emboldens me more than it should. Good lord. Before he can object, I grab his glasses off the bed and settle them onto the bridge of my nose. If she shows up where that's fine too. I was thinking like her little sprite here would show up with glasses, but this is nice. Sorry, let me try that again. I tilt the glasses and hope that I can make them glint the same way Rumpel does. I think maybe you should spoil yourself more often. Rumpel's shock disappears, replaced by bemused glee. Oh, I don't think so at all. After all, I think I'm already the luckiest man in the world to be spoiled by you. I need a sip of my drink. Excuse me one moment. Delicious. Being spoiled by others and spoiling yourself are two different things. Is she like playing the doctor right now? Oh, my princess, your words take on an even more sophisticated air with glasses. Although, he laughs. I'm sorry, even though I'm sure you wear my glasses better than I do, I can't appreciate your beauty because I can't see you. Oh my god, give him his glasses back, he's blind. Just how bad is your eyesight? Miserable. I'm sitting right next to you. Not close enough, I'm afraid. Oh god, give him his glasses back. I sigh out, but in the end shift closer so that I can lean my head onto his shoulder. Just give the man his glasses. Rumpel does not miss the opportunity to plant a kiss on my forehead. He smiles. I was right. Your eyes are... I'm sorry, I don't know that word. I have never seen this word. Scintillating? What the fuck? I've never seen that word in my life. Behind those lenses. I mean, I can assume what it means, but good god. Oops, where am I? There we go. Are they sparkling? What? Are the glasses sparkling? Sparkling? You always somehow to make your glasses shine. I'm afraid that's my secret technique, princess. I'm sorry, you can't do it, Sexto. You're not an anime boy with glasses. You're just an anime girl wearing somebody else's glasses. Not the same thing. I thought you would say that. Thank you for trying to cheer me up, Sexto. And for reminding me about something so important. I think glasses do make you more convincing, by the way. I have no doubt... He's still not wearing his glasses. I have no doubt they are the reason you are so silver-tongued. Rumpel looks horrified as I hand his glasses back. You make them sound like magic. It is not so strange to think someone might have charmed them. You don't think I was just born charming? I think I'm allergic to what he just said. I wonder. Rumpel looks sure of himself when he puts his glasses back on. You promise that if someone bothers you, you'll come to me, right? I'll beat the ass, man! I got you! I never keep secrets from you, Sexto. I never have and I never will. I feel like that might come up in the future. Unless they're meant to be surprises, and that's a different thing entirely. He gives me a pointed look, a mischievous smile curling his lips. I'm sure you understand the excitement of keeping secrets. I shrug and nudge. I have no idea what you mean! Secrets and surprises? What the fuck? I shrug as nonchalantly as I can manage. I will not rise to his bait. He's not finding out about my scarf. Did I bite my lip? Ow, why does that hurt? Anyway, other than a few disagreeable patients, everything has been splendid. I'm enjoying the work so far. As long as I can manage someone, I'm satisfied. I need to switch drinks. Here, I need water instead of Mountain Dew, because that's probably a lot better for me. Yeah, water. May not be the kind of work he's used to, but I hope Rumpel's patients will treat him well. The more I think about it, the more I question the reason Rumpel moved his practice here to the palace in the first place. He said that he did it because the king personally offered him a job and he couldn't refuse, but... Rumpel, you didn't just move to the palace because my father propositioned, did you? No, I wanted to change of location. Are you sure? I get to be closer to you this way. But... Closer! Rumpel puts a finger to my lips. No buts, lovely princess. I moved my practice here because I wanted to. You know how long I thought about this? From what I remember, it was not very long at all. But Rumpel does not lie to me, so I believe him. Girl. The tide of our conversations changes after that. Rumpel asks me about my day, and I am forced to make up a lie on the spot. Dear God, we're doing great. To avoid telling him the truth. We talk for a while after that until I'm forced again to attend to my responsibilities. Oh my gosh. I don't know why my throat is... Ooh. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. This is a bop. What in the world? I wasn't ready for that. Can't hit me with something like that. After I finish my daily obligations, I head to the forest for my last meeting. Don't you look at me like that, Dolores. You're making me worry and you haven't even said anything yet. Dolores is waiting for me in the clearing with the usual smirk on her face. Oh, no, no. I can sense the buildup of her spell moments before she casts it. Ah, scary. Moments before her spell slams into me, I erect a small shield to block her magic. Get wrecked. Ooh, ew, that was a gross sound. I sigh as her magic shatters my shield. It's nice to see you too, Dolores. She always greets me like this. She says it keeps me on my toes. Nice weather we're having tonight, isn't it? Nice music we're having tonight, isn't it? She looks at me curious. Where's Casanova? He didn't follow you out tonight? He tried, but I didn't let him get very far. In fact, I froze his feet to the ground to make sure he stayed in the palace. And to this day, he's still standing there. It was obvious he needed the rest. Dolores just snorts. You two are perfect for each other, both stubborn as rocks. I dismiss the next words with a wave of my hand to prepare myself for Dolores' next spell. Our training session, I want you to know while I'm reading, my leg is just bobbing to this fucking music. Our training sessions begin as it always does, with Dolores throwing spells at me, giving me only moments to counteract. We review shields, the basic offense magic, and then charms. We're nearly onto object summoning when it occurs to me to ask about Cinna. When he first arrived in Angiel, he watched these practices from the sidelines, but tonight he's nowhere to be seen. Oh, I got stuff in my nose. Are you actually worried for him? Or are you just worried because he's been so difficult lately? Both. Worry no more. Cinna turned over a new leaf. She pauses, then gives a nearly oh God, kill me. Oh, I can't say words. She gives me a shrug, yo. She gives me a shrug. I'm not stupid. Sometimes it just doesn't work. Sometimes the gears just slip. The machine stops working. Well, half a leaf at least. Half? He's a skeptic at heart, so it'll take a bit for him to open up completely. But what you said must have left an impression on him. I guess in the end it makes sense you could help him best. The two of you are very similar after all. She flashes a feline smile at me. I roll my eyes. I will not give in to her teasing. I know he can be difficult sometimes, but Cinna really is a good kid. I hope your talk with him could show you that. He said that he did not want to repeat Parfait's mistakes. I'm glad his reasons were not selfish. He may act like a skeptical old man, but he's a kid at heart. He's definitely easier to deal with than a certain ice prince. Hey, now? She raises an eyebrow at me. Is it really necessary to keep bringing up the past? You speak as if you've had tons of experience with children, but you only compare Cinna to me. The smirk falls from Dolores' face abruptly. Why is it sad? Give me my bop back. I just realized that I never told you about her, huh? Told me about who? Her? Oh, feel like I should cry. And I have nothing to cry about yet. Dolores crosses her arms against the cold. I'm taken aback by how small she suddenly looks beneath the shadow of the canopies. Lori? My little girl. You have a daughter! You have a daughter? Had. I lost her during the war. Why you gotta hit me with that? Why you hit me with that now? Why all of a sudden now? That's so... I mean, good story, like, piece, but I feel like that really could have been introduced in the first game. It's very sudden. Whatever words I had been about to say lodged in my throat. When I look at Dolores again, she is frowning up at the starry sky. I feel like we should know that by now. We've known Dolores for God knows how long. A year? 2 years? At times like this, when it's impossible to change what happened in the past, there's only one thing I can say. Giggity. Sorry. Dolores shakes her head. It wasn't your fault. You don't need to apologize. Wonder what she looked like. Oh, Dolores. Was she as sarcastic as you? For a long time, the two of us stand there, looking at the stars, and then hesitantly I break the silence. What was she like? Dolores smiles wistfully. She was a lot like you and Cinna. She was free-spirited to a fault and always spoke her mind. And even though she never admitted to being a soft-heart, she would always jump to the defense of others. I used to tease her all the time and she'd get embarrassed and snap at me. She was my greatest treasure. I feel like this is gonna be important later, but I don't know how. My mind whirls, supplying images of humans attacking Dolores' daughter. How could they have hurt a child? Dolores seems to read the question from my expression. She was killed during the war by your mother. Oh my god, damn! Just kill me, why don't you? As if it's in the air, is torn from my lungs. I suddenly feel cold and empty. I was unsympathetic to... I can't pronounce her name. It's so weird. She believed that the only way to show me how much she was suffering as a Tenenbaum was to make me suffer. What the fuck? Man, our mom was a bitch. So she took away the person I loved most. Man, I was just gonna say one thing right now. Was Sexto alive during the war? I don't know how long ago the war was, but the only thought that crossed through my mind was Sexto's mom. If Sexto was alive during the war, I don't remember, but Sexto's mom is fucking lucky that Dolores didn't just whip back and kill her daughter too. Like, holy shit, like, you killed mine, bitch, I'm coming for yours too. Like, if Sexto was alive, I actually have no idea. But I feel like that Sexto wasn't alive because I feel like the war was a long time ago. How old is Dolores? Oh gosh, I'm all confused. You don't have to say you're sorry, Sexto. For a long time I've been wondering if I should even tell you this story. I never wanted you to blame yourself, but now you know, after everything you've gone through, that you are not like her. When she killed my daughter, I thought I'd never get another chance to have someone like her in my life. But then you came along. Her smile mellows. I think if Lori had grown up, she would have been a lot like you, Sexto. And now I have the honor of watching over the Taciturn Fairy, too. What's a Taciturn? Lucky me, being able to watch both over the Tenebrum and Lucis Bearer. She steps close enough to set a hand on my shoulder. You know you said that in your nightmares your mother told you you weren't good enough, but I know that's not true. Dolores like that aunt. She's like my cool aunt. She's like my badass aunt, and I love it. I get to witness your magical strength every time we practice, and now I know firsthand how dedicated you are. I cannot help but smile, even though my heart is heavy with so many revelations. Dolores' words make the burden easier to bear. I have Rumple and everyone at the Martian to thank for that. Dolores grins at me. Well, of course you do, but remember what Parfait used to say, goodness is in it to everyone. She taps my chest. So really you had it in you all along. She draws her hand away with a grin. Do you feel better now? I should be asking you that. Dolores shakes her head. What's in the past is in the past. Honoring Laura's memory is all I can do for her now. Honoring her memory. I hope Cinna and I are able to do that for Parfait and Mother. Why do you still... Why do you still say mother like she matters right now? She's still a horrible person. We don't have to live for her. We're living for other people. She's out of the equation. She's gone. She's poof. Delora backs away. No more getting sidetracked. Show me what you've got, princess. And then she whacks me with a fucking spell. The lesson continues into the night. It's obvious, however, that Delora and I have our minds on different things. I have no doubt that she's thinking about Lori. And me? I need to do my best to honor my own mother. What have I said? Don't do that! We don't honor her, we honor other people who actually did good things. Honor Parfait, not your mom. And to keep those I love from suffering. And that includes Rumpel. Honoring mom. Pfft. Don't honor her. She don't deserve honor. You know who deserves honor? Delora deserves honor if she were dead. Let's hope that doesn't happen by the end of this game. I gotta stop saying stuff like that. Alright. You know, I'm thinking that I'm just gonna make these episodes longer and post like once a week. Just cause I can't record every night because of the birds. Cause me talking will keep the birds awake. I just realized I never told you that I got 3 birds. I got 3 birds and it's nighttime and I don't want to keep them awake. So we're gonna make this episode longer than usual and there's just gonna be spaced out. So that's what we're gonna do. And I'm telling you this in the middle of the video because usually I'd end it right now, but we're not gonna do that. So let's continue. Also, if you want to see pictures of the birds, you can go to my Twitter in the linky thing, in the description thing, you know, the little box at the bottom of the video. I got 3 birds and they are absolute cuties. Thank God that council meeting is over. I am gonna save though. Shaving 953. There we go. I like to save just in case anything happens, you know? In case that lovely crashing thing happens. I'm relieved to be back in my quiet room after listening to the counselors again argue about taxes for hours. Finally, I can hear myself think. I look down at my scarf for Rumpel, which after about a week's worth of work is almost a week. Okay, I'm gonna be fair. I don't know anything about sewing, but does it really take a week for a scarf? Like it's just one thing of fabric. Like, I'd understand if you were, like, crocheting it or knitting it. But sewing it? I don't know, Sexto. I should be able to finish it today. I seat myself at my desk and begin working. My mind wanders in silence, my thoughts turning toward Rumpel. Though a week has passed since he started seeing patients, I can tell he is stressed. One night, when he again fell asleep on my desk, I heard him mumbling in his sleep. I could tell he was having an old nightmare. One in which he kills a witch with a serpent smile and loses one of his dearest friends. That's... Are you sure you weren't having that dream? That's super specific for just hearing him mumbles. I know it's the same dream because he always whispers the same words. I'm sorry I couldn't save you, Lady Parfait. Oh, no. I become so lost in thought I prick my finger. The pain brings me back to reality. I need to focus. I turn my attention back to the scarf, but the minute I resume sewing, a knock on sounds on my door. Princess Sexto. Yes, you may come in. Sorry, I wasn't expecting him to show up. I don't know, like, I feel like I just got punched in the gut. I forgot he existed, honestly. Fitzgerald Aiden Leverton. What a name. F-A-L. Fall, for short, slips into my room with a pleasant smile affixed to his face. Why did I think he was dead? Is he dead in one of the roots? I honestly thought he was dead. Welcome back. Here you are. What's up, Fritz? Ya boy. 2 years ago, I thought he disappeared forever, destroyed by a villainous witch. That's probably why. But turns out he managed to escape the kingdom during the turbulent time. What's up? His memories are fragmented, but we've been able to piece together what Mithras cursed him. I forgot about that guy. Whoa. And that man named Varg was Varg was actually, what a name, was actually Fritz's cursed form. Father was wary and removed Fritz from his post as personal guard, but I at least was able to save his job as a knight. welcome. Good morning, Princess. What's up? Welcome back from the dead. Morning, Fritz. He eyes the fabrics on my desk. I had no idea you made scarves, Princess. I don't. I don't. Wait, did you just say that I didn't know you made scarves? Squints. I laugh before I can help it. Fritz looks at me startled. He thinks it looks like a scarf. Perhaps I'm not so terrible as I thought. Nice. Princess, it's nothing, Fritz. Thank you. Step 1. Somebody can tell what it is. Awesome. Fritz smiles quizzically before awkwardly shuffling on his feet. I can tell by the nervous motion that he has something to say. What's up, bro? Did you come to deliver a message or just look at my cool-ass scarf? Actually, yes. I came by to let you know that the Border Scouts saw a Brugantian carriage approaching this morning. Prince Claude and Prince Lance were in it. They'll arrive at the palace this afternoon. Cool, 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 cool. Look at that face. Look at that face. His Majesty tells me their visit is quite spontaneous. Very like Claude to show up unexpectedly and dramatically. How is it dramatic? He's in a carriage. Ever since Angiel and Brugantia, got it, formed a more dedicated alliance, Claude and his brother have been visiting more often, and usually without prior notice, as you do. I just received the news, so I'm on my way to help organize security. I appreciate you notifying me beforehand. Thank you, dude. Fritz ducks into a bow and then pauses. One more thing. I met Princess Emmy in the hallway. She asked me to tell you to meet her in the dining hall. I don't want to. I'm making a scarf. Can't you see that? What for? Fritz shakes his head. I don't know. All I know is she and the Queen are waiting for you. Ophelia as well. It's rare for her to call to me. I'll go meet with them then. Thank you, Fritz. Fritz had just turned toward the door when it occurs to me to ask a question. One I've been meaning to ask for a long time. Fritz, have you been enjoying your job? It is not my fault Fritz was demoted, and yet I feel responsible that I could save him from Mythros all those years ago. Fritz glances over his shoulder with a gentle smile. You don't have to worry, Princess. Even if I can't personally serve you anymore, I get to keep protecting people and protecting what I do best. Protecting is what I do best. Yeah. Despite his smile, there is a melancholy in Fritz's eyes that makes my heart ache. I hope he does not blame himself for what happened years ago. Take care, Princess. I sit in silence after he leaves, my mind foggy with memories of the past. I think about Rumpel and his nightmares, about the blood he must remember on his hands. What did he do? What blood? Where? What did he do? I feel like he must have done something. But I just can't remember for the life of me. I think about Fritz and the terrible witch who cursed him. I think about Mother, who we shouldn't think about at all, in my opinion, whom I was meant to revive. Go away, no one likes your face! We feed off negativity and chaos. Love serves us no purpose. You will see that in time. Go away. No one likes you. Mother, I wish we could have seen eye to eye. I wish I could have saved you from yourself before you were lost to me forever. I rise to my feet. I was going to finish the scarf, but I have no time if I am to attend to my family. For now, I stuff it into the drawer for safekeeping. I wonder what Emmy and Ophelia want. I head to the dining hall. What up, what up, what up, homies? Servants are setting the table for tea when I enter. I am taken aback when I see a plate of familiar lily-shaped biscuits on the surface. Oh, Sexto! Ugh! Ophelia's so pretty! Gosh, dang it! Good afternoon, Sexto. She's like the perfect mom, look at her. She's so pretty. Can I, Oh no, what have I done? Oh, I don't want to be here. Go away. Emmy told me there was a new dessert in town named for you. I had a servant pick up a batch on an errand run. Have you tried them? They're delicious. If Rumpel were here, he'd be wiggling his eyebrows at me. Yes, Rumpel has already forced them on me. Ophelia laughs. You make it sound like a form of torture. Well, he did do all of it without me knowing. Ophelia and Emmy share a look, then burst into laughter. Once the sound would have infuriated me. Now I recognize the banter for what it is, an attempt to get closer to me. I used to shun such attempts, now I'm grateful for them. Ophelia has always been very supportive of my relationship with Rumpel. Perhaps it's because she too was once a commoner. So what did you call me here for? Is it about the Brugantian prince? I raised an eyebrow at Emmy. Did you know they were visiting? Emmy laughs. I've known for a long time. Girl, why didn't you tell no one? I sent Prince Lance an invitation to the Spring Festival weeks ago. An Angiel Spring Festival is an annual event. Last year, Rumpel showed me to the decorated stalls and carts, but I was so busy I barely had a chance to appreciate it. I'd completely forgotten it was coming up. I smile at Emmy. How bold of you to invite a prince to a festival. Good lord. I just thought Lance might like to see some of our celebrations firsthand. He's always telling me about Brugantian festivities. Whew. So this whole visit was actually orchestrated by you. Does Rod know? I'm sure he realizes at this point. Rod's somewhere boiling tea with his head. Oh. I keep forgetting. I just realized that made no sense to anybody. And I keep forgetting this is the second recording, and y'all had no idea what happened in the first recording. And I'm referencing stuff that y'all never saw. I say that because we went down one of the routes and Emmy was there, and she's like, I'm getting a scarf for Rod because he's angry at me. And they were talking about how Rod gets so mad he could boil tea or something. Some shit like that. Damn it. Messing me all up. Messing everybody up. Everybody's confused. I don't think Rod could ever remain angry at you for long, Emmy. I hope not. The worry on Emmy's face is thankfully quick to fade. Anyway, you didn't come here to listen to me babble. Oh, then why am I here? Ophelia gestures to the chair at the table. I seat myself beside Emmy. I hear you've been quite busy with meetings lately. We rarely see you. You're always in meetings or training with magic. Those are my responsibilities as the Crown Princess and Lieutenant Bear, yes. But while those duties are important, you also have a duty to take care of yourself. You need to relax. Rumple says the same thing. You took me to a cafe. Does that not count as a break? Oh, I thought you were forced into that. It was not the most unpleasant thing. I'm glad to hear it. And I hope you'll be glad to hear that Rumple and I have come up with a way for you to do your duty as Crown Princess while also taking a break. I have a bad feeling about this. Emmy claps her hands together. And you and I are going to be in charge of the town festivities this year. How in the world is that a break? What? Emmy grasps my hands. Sexto, it's going to be great. I've already ordered some decorations from Biorica's. Ooh, I hate that name. And Anise is going to help us brainstorm ideas. But I don't want to. We should ask Sir Waltz if he'd perform a special magic show. But... Or, oh, you should perform, Sexto. Perform what? Emmy dear, it looks like Sexto wants to say something. Yes. I don't know how to plan a festival, and my magic... Your magic is beautiful. I look up at the word surprised. Rumple said he'd be good at this, and he knows you best, doesn't he? Be that as it may, we don't want to force you into anything, Sexto. It sounds like you already signed me up! As always, Rumple goes out of his way to lift my spirits when he's the one that needs to take a break, but maybe... I'll do it, but only if Rumple is given time off. Do you think he will take it, even if it's offered? If I need to, I'll call this a date and force him to come with me. Both Ophelia and Emmy stare at me. What? What? Nothing, it's just good to see you looking out for each other. Emmy smiles brightly. You're done with your meetings, right? In that case, would you like to accompany me to the march-in? I'd like to talk to Sir Waltz about the magic show. What if the Brugantian prince arrives when you're out? Don't you want to be here to greet Lance? Oh, you're right. Emmy looks so downtrodden, I can't help but feel guilty for bringing it up. Perhaps it wouldn't hurt to take a break from all that sewing. I could still go to the tavern. I would not mind requesting his assistance on your behalf. Are you sure? It's no problem. You invited Lance. You should be here when he arrives. In that case, I'm going to start preparing for his arrival. Thank you, Sexto. You're welcome, I guess. Emmy walks away with a little bounce in her step, leaving Ophelia and I alone. Mom! I love Ophelia. She's so nice. She even looks like she's nice. What the heck? To be young and in love. Foreseeing my uncomfortable turning in the conversation, I begin to excuse myself when Ophelia speaks. Sexto, may I ask you a question? What's up? Rumple, how is he taking to palace life? Oh. Yo, I don't know what the right answer is, dudes. I'm kind of curious about Ophelia's past, though. If I'm gonna be real with y'all. Give me some deets about your past. He insists that things are going well, but I know he is stressed over his patients. They look down on him and he refuses to stand up for himself. What did you do when you first came to the palace? Ophelia's lips curl in a wistful smile. I felt very small when I arrived. The nobles spread illicit rumors and mocked my etiquette. They told me I would never be good enough. I was one of those people. Ophelia seems to guess at my thoughts. She smiles and sets a hand on my shoulder. Your whole life had been upturned when I came into your life. Your feelings toward me were understandable. In the beginning, your father stood up for me, but there was only so much he could do. In the end, if I wanted to be part of this court, I had to learn its rules. So I learned how to be a queen. I took lessons and learned how to speak to the people who threw insults at my back, and then one day the insults stopped hurting. You and Emmy and Rod, you've had to endure so much. And so have you. But we've all come out stronger for it, haven't we? Yes, we have. I never thought I'd be having this conversation with Ophelia, yet here we are. Remember, Sexto, you can't fight Rumpel's battles for him. You can be there to help him. Rumpel knew what he was getting himself into when he moved here. Did he? Love gives us the courage to fight intimidating battles. You know that just as well as I do, don't you? You knew this would be a difficult relationship, yet you still pursued it. I have never cared about others' opinions of me, but Rumpel... Have faith, Sexto. Rumpel is a doctor. He's no stranger to pressure. Ophelia is right. Rumpel has never doubted my ability to do anything. I need to trust in him. Thank you for listening to me, Ophelia. Of course. You and Rumpel are always welcome to ask for my advice. Though I'd also love for us to talk more about pleasant things over tea someday. She gestures towards the biscuits. And perhaps we can share the Princess Lily platter. Oh no. I clear my throat. I'm going to the marchand now. I hurriedly curtsy to the exit dining hall to Ophelia's soft laughter. I am going to save here. Yep. Yep. And then we're gonna load and see what the other one was. Ask for advice. But his patients are being condescending. How did you know? Because it seems a person's worth is often determined by their ancestry in this world. It doesn't make any sense. No, it doesn't, does it? Once I too shunned Ophelia and her children for not being of royal blood. The realization made my stomach knot. Ophelia, I'm sorry about before. You don't need to apologize, Sexto. I came into your life after a great loss. It's only natural you were so wary of me. And besides, it's all in the past. What matters now is Rumpel, right? He always lets people walk all over him, and he does not let me stand up for him. Because you can't fight his battles for him. If you did, the nobility would never accept him. They'd think he was using you as a shield. Then what must I do? Support him and let him find his own way. Sometimes the best way to guide someone is to listen to them. Rumpel said the same thing, that listening is key. Rumpel knew what he was getting himself into when he moved here, did he? This would be difficult. Boop-a-doop. Have faith. He's okay. So it was kind of the same. We just got more information about Ophelia, I suppose. I guess when we asked her about her. I don't know why, but I am gonna load what I last saved just because I'm weird. I guess just because I kind of want to stick with what I picked. I'm going to end this episode here. I'm getting kind of tired. It's 12:13, and I don't want to keep my birds awake anymore. You know. Baby's got to sleep. I'll see y'all in the next episode. Hopefully it won't be too far away. And have a good night. Kiss your dogs. Kiss your rabbits. Give them a little pet. Slap your dog on the butt. Do something. I don't know. Give your dog a cookie. I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.